Hey everybody, it's your boy ChasmRift here, and today we'll be discussing the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie trailer. Yes, I know I am late to the party. It's been out for a couple weeks or so, but if you have not seen the trailer, it is linked down below. Do not continue in this video until you've seen it for clarity. I think that is pretty self-explanatory. If you don't want to be spoiled, then don't spoil yourself. Just click off right now. Give yourself a minute or two to watch the trailer, and then you can come back here. Other than that, I guess we can just hop right on into it with some of these screen caps I've taken from the trailer. Alright, from this first screen cap that we have right here, we see that Paragus and Broly are wearing Saiyan armor, and they're flying a ship that is very similar to Frieza's ship. We'll get to that very soon. They have a fleet of men. They're standing in line before Broly goes choo-choo train on Vegeta. Base Broly not only fights, but pushes the likes of Base, Super Saiyan Vegeta, post-training Frieza, and later on both God and Blue Goku while in base form. I think this is a good move because initially revealed, people compared original movie Broly in terms of power to the scale of powerful characters we have seen up until this point. Same for villains today. They only had two options that I originally thought of they could do for Broly. Well, three, but two of them are basically variants of each other. One, give Broly blue or some transformation similar to post-tournament power Blue Goku and Vegeta in terms of power, kind of like how Super Saiyan Rose was a drastic power increase for Goku Black and Super Saiyan Rays was for Trunks. Give Broly legendary Super Saiyan form with the even bigger multiplier than it was in the original film. By that I mean Super Saiyan 1 is a times 50 multiplier naturally. Legendary Super Saiyan transformation is clearly leagues above it. Evidence is easier to prove through kill than first movie Broly because base power is still need to be taken into consideration. This trailer did none of the above and basically said base Broly can throw hands with our heroes. Personally, I think this was the best option and seemingly almost impossible to consider from Toriyama and DBS, seeing that from DBZ to now, the show centered around crazy power-ups and training. They basically retconned even Broly's transformation and even potential from Saiyans. I know that was a really weird explanation. That was a really weird statement I just made right there. But basically what I mean by that, when I say they retconned Broly's transformation and the potential, is that Broly in the movie, he was being kind of mind controlled and keeping his rage at bay. His father Paragus put him into mind control, and to the likes of Trunks, he said that this guy is basically like a fruitcake. He's not that powerful when he's in this calm, controlled state. But when he went berserk and was able to go legendary Super Saiyan, the multiplier was real. He ended up just thrashing everybody, and the legendary Super Saiyan transformation was theorized to be, in terms of power, be in between both Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2 in terms of how much power it would be if person A was able to have access to all three transformations. In terms of like the potential of even Saiyans, Saiyans have always been viewed throughout the series as being kind of weak. Back in the day when it's over 9,000 was a very popular meme. That was actually a pretty good indicator to what power Saiyans were at. King Vegeta was around power level of 9 to 10,000. Vegeta during the Saiyan arc thought that he could somehow take on Frieza after a little bit of training, even though he's like a power level of 9,000. And just years of overall grueling training on different planets and different gravities, Saiyan's power levels kind of plateaued there. When they found out the true importance of Zenkai boosts and how their trainings can be taken up to the next level, we start to see their potential skyrocket, not just for Saiyans but for our human characters as well. So seeing that they actually took that and bounced it onto steroids is really interesting to see what they're going to be doing with Broly in the future for this film, because this is just base Broly going into town. This isn't Dragon Ball Heroes where you see like base Bardock, thrashing everybody, or King Vegeta coming back in base and is stronger than current Super Saiyan Blue Dragon Ball Super Goku. None of that's happening. This is just base Broly going to work without even turning into legendary Super Saiyan yet. Broly fighting Frieza is interesting. We can look at this screen cap right here. Either it means they fought and Frieza recruited Broly to his army, or Broly potentially beat up Frieza and GTA'd his ship, which would honestly be funny. Very unlikely, but funny as a plot point. As we look into the screenshot, we see who is most likely Broly and Paragus trying to touch each other's hand on the glass incubator, which is interesting, as Geekdom 101 did theorize that there may have been Saiyan genetic modification is going on in this, which could be a cool new backstory for Broly and explain his power. We're kind of seeing that right now with Naruto, but I won't spoil that. However, people are now speculating this is in fact Bardock and Goku, because this scene looks exactly like the manga panel in Dragon Ball Minus. I'm sure many of you have heard Minus referenced before in the past, but for those who never read it, it's basically the retelling of Bardock's story. Many people, including me, think it's trash compared to the Father of Goku special, but key differences between this manga special and the original story is, first we get to see the debut of Goku's mother, Gine. We never seen her before. We've never really seen her be mentioned before besides Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and for years the community speculated on who she possibly was. She was actually revealed here through Dragon Ball Minus. And another key difference between Dragon Ball Minus and the Father of Goku special is that Goku wasn't sent to Earth to destroy the planet. He was sent to Earth by Bardock to escape Frieza. And he wasn't sent as a baby. He was sent wearing Saiyan armor, wristbands, and was even a child. The only issue with this is, if they use this for the film, is that in Dragon Ball, even Raditz confirmed it in both the anime and manga in Dragon Ball Z, that if a Saiyan hit their head as a baby, they would forget their mission to destroy life on that planet. The thing is, Goku isn't a baby anymore in Minus, and if he was presumably 3 to 5 years old in Minus before being sent away, he should remember how Planet Vegeta looked, remember his true parents, and even have some understanding of his Saiyan heritage, seeing he was dressed in Saiyan armor before being shipped. My hopes is that if this is a scene for Bardock, is that Goku was sent away, but he's still a baby, just wearing the Saiyan wristbands, which really wouldn't be a retcon. I hope that's the route they go with it, because if they take the Dragon Ball Minus route, this completely retcons most of the story building up from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z for Goku's background story, and it also kind of hurts the narrative and plot for the overall series. I will be going on into a video very soon about that. I'll get to more than that at the end of this video. Also, in Dragon Ball Minus, Frieza knows of the Super Saiyan God, which really wouldn't make sense if he knew about that. He would have trained before Namek. When he knew about the Super Saiyan transformation and he allowed only a few Saiyans to be left, he thought that at first he would just be safe because he's leagues above them. But if he knew about this legendary Super Saiyan God transformation, then that completely throws everything out the window, because this God transformation is leaps and bounds stronger than all the previous transformations that came before it. In this next screen cap, we see an explosion, which we could assume is ground level shot of Planet Vegeta's destruction. But what really interests me in this next screenshot is Paragus. If you look at this screenshot or even concept art, he has the gray hair and noticeably aging skin. The interesting thing is, Toriyama, Vegeta in the anime and manga, and even DBZ confirmed that Saiyans have differing lifespans than humans. Since Saiyans fight and are very savage, they die at young ages, and it messes up their life expectancy average. Vegeta stated that by age 80, Saiyans still look young. This is evident in how Goku and Vegeta hardly changed their appearance compared to the time skips they had in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z to Super. Why is this important? Well, Nappa was roughly 50 years old when he went to Earth with adult Vegeta. He looked the same besides middle baldness disorder. With that being said, if it's been at least 2 decades, he should still look the same. Which matters because if Paragus was the same age as King Vegeta, Bardock, or hell, even Nappa during the Bardock special, he should still look young or only show slight aging effects to his appearance. With this screenshot, I gotta say I am 70% positive this is just a flashback to Broly's teenage years with Paragus, but since this is a movie about the history of the Saiyans, Toriyama went out of his way to explain S-cells and how they relate to Saiyans, and even the backstory of Yamoshi. I think, as food for thought, do not take this into complete canon, but think of the possibility that Yamoshi is the Saiyan on the left, or has connection to Broly/Paragus. If it is Yamoshi, it would explain why Paragus looked noticeably older than he should be, because it would mean he fathered Broly at an older age compared to people like King Vegeta and Bardock. Because the S-cells explained by Toriyama is increased by, yes, your power, but also your pureness of heart. If Broly is supposed to be this psychotic Saiyan who's bloodthirsty, and he cannot possibly attain a Super Saiyan transformation, as we've seen with Vegeta, Despite being incredibly strong by Namek standards and even intense training in space, he couldn't go Super Saiyan 1 until he accepted his fate and opened his heart. The obvious issue here would be the placement of the timeline for Yamoshi, and he would have to be a Super Saiyan God within 100 years, which may be impossible, but I do have a theory, and I will be making a video about the current Saiyan history we know so far prior to this film. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I hope that you enjoyed this in-depth analysis about the trailer, about some of these screenshots, and about what the community is saying and what's going on throughout this film. Dragon Ball Super has been on hiatus since March, and this movie will be coming around December, January, depending on which part of the world you're in. And we're all just itching for a compelling story with just great characters and great plot. I hope you guys really did enjoy this, and I hope you guys look forward very soon to my Dragon Ball timeline for the Saiyan's history that we know so far. I'm looking forward to making that video. I will be doing a lot of research for that, but look for that video to be coming out within the coming days to week. I really do hope to get this out before any more information come out there that will probably retcon the timeline, honestly. But yeah, guys, I'm about to get out of here, and I gotta edit this video because I made a lot of commentary mistakes. The gates fell open, and I guess gotta close them. So bye.